Hey, I'm Rob Adler, and welcome to Understanding Upstate, the podcast dedicated to exploring what makes upstate New York such a unique place. Each week, my co-host Jim Search and I dive into a new upstate topic to better understand what's up upstate. And today, we are talking about perhaps the most unique character we've ever discussed, a one Rochester's own Rattlesnake Pete.
Well, I will say this. I feel like we did talk about another very interesting man in the form of Rick James.
I was just going to say, fine, the most interesting man from Rochester.
Yeah, I was going to say Rochester's most interesting man I'm willing to give you. But
fair enough.
I don't know, man. We figured out how much money Rick was spending on blow, and that was a lot. That was
yeah, it's true.
That was a man who had a lot of things happening at once.
You could have dug like 3 Erie canals with all that money.
And filled them up with the amount of cocaine he snorted. So there you go, party people. Like I said, it's not about Rick James today.
No.
We're talking about your friend and mine, Rattlesnake Pete.
But before we talk about Rattlesnake Pete, you should subscribe, rate, and review the show. Also, share an episode with a friend. All those things help us out a ton. Jim, I don't know if you know this. We're doing this show for free. So
yeah.
You guys can help us out with some of those things. Again, it's like huge benefit just to be able to get a couple more ears on this podcast. And if you give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, which means you write some nice words about the show in Apple Podcasts, then you can suggest a topic for us on a future episode. And in fact, Jim, I was talking to some people that tried to review it on Spotify.
Right.
Didn't let them because they hadn't listened to the show enough. So
really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So I did put their recommendation on our future episode list because they tried. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll still honor that. But also, guys, just do Apple Podcasts. Just go.
Or just, yeah.
There.
I don't know. Just do that. That seems to be the easier solution. That's the workaround for that.
The path of least resistance, for sure. And I would say most benefit to our show. But what's going to be most beneficial to you is learning about Rattlesnake Pete, because my word, this guy's a character. Should we start talking about old Rattlesnake Pete?
Let's get into it, man. Let's unpack this.
All right. Okay, so Peter Rattlesnake Pete Gruber was born in 1858 in Oil City, Pennsylvania, the eldest of a Pioneer Oil refiner's 9 children. He would later claim that while a boy hiking in the local hills, he had come upon an old Native American woman from the Seneca Reservation. Dragging behind her on a rope a big dead rattlesnake, she explained to Pete how she would extract the fatty oil, which was used to treat rheumatism, stiff joints, even earaches, among other afflictions. Impressed by the boy's interest, she even gave him the snake's skin. Pete later learned from the Native Americans how to capture the rattlers, that's fun to say, and from the medicine men how to use them for various folk remedies.
Interesting.
I'm going to be saying rattlers this entire episode, so just...
Is that how you want to go at it? I mean, you can. Look, there's Rattler or Rattler. I'm not here to stop you, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't do that.
You do you, however you want to say it. But I'm saying rattlers.
Go for it, man. Fuck that. It's your world, dude.
So I was able to find a couple pictures of Rattlesnake Pete, and I'm looking at one now. It's like an old tintype photograph, and he's wearing, it's not just like a suit jacket. It's like, you know how back in olden times you'd have a jacket that's kind of looks like an overcoat, but it's also a suit. It probably doubles as like a suit jacket. So that is to say, a large, long jacket. This entire thing is made out of rattlesnake, rattler skin. And it even looks like the tie he is wearing, which is like I mean, yeah, he tied it with.
It's like a double Windsor there.
Yeah, it's a thick knot because
Yeah.
it's made out of rattlesnake skin. Like, you're not getting a tight knot out of that thing.
No.
And he's also holding a cane that is fashioned in the shape of a rattler.
This coat must cost like $50,000. Like, this is
Right.
a full fucking snakeskin
Also,
coat.
you gotta I gotta imagine you gotta oil that thing every morning just to keep the skin from drying out. Can you imagine the upkeep on this jacket alone? Pete, what are you doing?
I don't think Pete was going to let that get in the way of him being great.
No, that's true. So when Pete's father left the oil business, Rattlesnake Pete, as he was now known, joined his father in his new venture, which was operating a restaurant and saloon. Soon, Pete began to create a museum in the Emporium. He displayed cage rattlers, then added a miniature oil well display, hand-whittled, painted, and assembled by Pete and his dentist friend, Doc Reynolds. When a flood and fire struck Oil City in June 1892, Pete moved to Rochester, New York, where he established his own combined saloon and museum of curiosities.
He's like the precursor to like the Pizza Hut and Taco Bell combination.
Yeah. I was thinking more like Ripley's Believe It or Not, but I like your angle better.
Yeah, you like how my fucking synapses went in the direction of the Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, whereas yours was a little bit more on the nose.
Two on the nose.
Yeah. Like, but that's not what the Speedy Freaks came here for. You know what I mean?
It's true. So this reptilian-centric museum. Let's talk about the museum and saloon. It was located on Mill Street in Rochester. Patrons from far and wide would come to Pete's for a drink and a glimpse of his famous exhibits of eccentricities, as well as his extensive collection of rattlers, copperheads, adders, and other reptiles.
Man.
A lot of people confuse my last name for adder. It happens.
Really?
It happens. Like, you're like the snake. I'm like, no.
No, I ain't no snake. Fuck you. What the fuck you mean by that? That's what I would say. But
yep. That's what I'll say the next time it happens. For sure.
Rob, I couldn't imagine that. But if it let me know when. Get it on tape if I'm not there.
Sure.
I want to hear you address somebody in that.
We'll capture my last minutes on this earth.
Yeah, that's funny.
So according to his biography, Pete saw Rochester by chance when he visited his sister. She had married a Rochesterian who worked for one of the city's breweries, which we learned about in a previous episode.
We talked about that.
Yeah. He found a location that suited him on West Avenue near the old Erie Canal. Pretty great idea, Pete. Not bad. And established his museum there. 8 months later, he had the opportunity to move the business closer to the city center. Boo! Keep it by the canal. It's all right. And he rented the building at 810 Mill Street, behind the Reynolds Arcade and almost opposite Corinthian Hall in Rochester's First Ward. People told him that he wouldn't last 3 months on Mill Street because of the gangs into whose territory he was moving. It was a rough area. This is a quote from, I believe, his biographer. Their assertion was made on the basis of previous exploits of the Arcade Push, the Hard Cider Gang, and a number of other clubby associations of callous-fisted, turbulent individuals who had long infested the precincts of the First Ward. Hard Cider Gang. Doesn't sound like that tough of a gang.
No. Well, you also, like, we gotta remember, like, for the time, it's like, see, I'm a member of the Hard Cider Gang. You know, we knock over trash cans and shake our fists at an old woman. See,
There's a lot of mustache twirling going.
Oh, for sure, a lot of Raleigh fingers, mustaches in full effect. I thought about growing mine into that.
Sure,
you know, why not, right?
Yeah, it's never too late. Never too late.
No.
Continuing the quote, who had long infested the precincts of the First Ward, waging guerrilla warfare with the police and delighted to put out of business any restaurateur who had the temerity to open his swinging doors in their territory. That's from Charles B. Stilson in 1923, who's actually a friend of Pete's.
Okay.
He would go on to be a biographer. He would go on rattlesnake hunts with him.
I can't imagine you hunting anything else, Pete.
That's true.
To be honest with you.
But Stilson went on to record later that Pete prevailed, having done so by his diplomacy in dealing with people and, when necessary, by the physical strength that he had gained in his early years as an athlete and a blacksmith's apprentice, and by his fearless reputation for handling poisonous snakes. I would not fuck with someone named Rattlesnake.
Yeah, man. Listen, there's a, like, you know, it's kind of like, you got to think of it, I'm thinking of it in terms of just like, you don't like fuck with somebody who's like a skateboarder just because like they fall all the time. Like
high pain threshold. Yeah.
The tolerance for pain is going to be pretty fucking high. And also like, yeah, if you're Rattlesnake Pete and you're just like, you know, locking up with snakes on a regular basis, you've been bit a bunch. We're going to talk about some of the stories of like him being poisoned. It's just like, I don't know, Hard Cider Gang, what do you have? What do you have in comparison to that, my friends? You know what I mean?
Not much.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. It's not how this is going down.
That might be the hardest I've laughed in any of these episodes.
I was gonna say, man, you really
I delighted at that.
that scenario right there.
Whew. This next quote, I am delighted. I am absolutely delighted to announce is from a one upstate New York's own poet laureate Arch Merrill, who is one of the main documentarians of Rattlesnake Pete. He didn't put him to not one, not two, but 6 of his books. He is in 6 Arch Merrill works of writing.
That's your guy, man. Arch is your guy.
And I'm sad to say I don't have any of those books, so now I have to scour eBay for the next month.
Say they're out
those.
there. I've seen when we were doing we were talking about him. I saw some copies.
They were all like $25. I love Arch Merrill. I'm not spending
but not $25 worth of love.
No, maybe 5.
Ha ha.
Anyway, from the words of our favorite author, he liked everybody and everybody liked him. He was always courteous, always a gentleman, despite his forbidding nickname. There was never any rumpus in his place. Pete had been a boxer and a swimmer of repute in his youth, and roisterers respected his physical strength and the steel-nerved courage of the man who hunted rattlers in the Bristol Hills and who'd survived the bites of 29 rattlers and 4 copperheads. And there was always at least 1, sometimes 4, of the giant St. Bernards around their master. In the days of the excursion trains, country folk always made a beeline for Rattlesnake Pete's. They talked about its wonders for months.
He seems like a gregarious man who has stared death down many, many times.
Well liked. And yeah, he had there's a bunch of you can find postcards, old postcards that I assume were sold at the saloon, and it's usually him with a couple or 4 of the St. Bernards and like a snake or something. And in fact, I'll describe in a little bit kind of what the inside of the saloon looked like. Just because there's an actual picture of it, and sure enough, in the picture is 3 St. Bernards just hanging out in the saloon. But a big man with a lot of big interests, I'll say.
Sure.
All right. So Pete, again, super friendly, very likable, made his mark in Rochester by serving up drinks alongside hundreds of curios and oddities, including, but far from limited to, an Egyptian mummy, a 2-headed calf, a 3-legged chicken, a 3,000-pound stuffed Percheron horse, tanks filled with writhing snakes, jars of pickled brains, New York's first electric chair, a pipe said to have been smoked by John Wilkes Booth, the weight used and last hanging in Rochester, the battle flag of Custer's last stand, and a shingle from the Johnstown flood. Do you know what the Johnstown flood is? I had to look this up.
I didn't. I don't know.
It didn't happen upstate New York, but it happened just across the border in Pennsylvania. But it's worth noting. What I found is this was this massive flood that essentially wiped this town off the face of the map. Its total death toll was 2,208 people. It was the largest loss of civilian life in the United States at the time. It's only surpassed by the 1900 Galveston hurricane and 9/11. It's
Wow.
like the third. We've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Third most, third largest loss of life in the States, which is pretty crazy. It originally was 2,209 because a man that was reported as presumed dead, Leroy Temple, had essentially removed himself from the flood debris, walked out of the valley, and moved to Massachusetts. And he showed up 11 years later just to see the town. They're like, "Oh,
You're all
Leroy,
right.
you
lived.
you made it." So it was reduced by one down to 2,208. I felt like that was noteworthy enough, even though it didn't occur in upstate New York. But we'll shout out Johnstown. Back to the curios. We got a 100-year-old harpsichord that was rumored to be the first in Rochester. Stuffed animals and snakes of all kinds. He even had an axe used by a wife murderer. And believe you me, I tried to figure out who that was. Could not find.
Couldn't get there.
Could not confirm.
Jesus. Well, he's got some real haunted paraphernalia here, man.
Absolutely. It doesn't stop there though, Jim. I feel like I'm on an infomercial. Let's see. He also had the skull of the horse of Civil War General Philip H. Sheridan. He also had a $20 gold coin lying on the bar, which was wired to shock anyone who dared to steal it. That's fun.
Fun. Yeah. preying on people's need for money. And just being a real imp of Satan here.
Sure. It also featured the stony corpse of a petrified woman, and also the first Nickelodeon piano, which is to say the first coin-operated player piano, which he claimed to have invented 18 years before the Wurlitzer Company. And he even wrote them a letter as like, you make pretty nice mechanical operated pianos. I did it almost 20 years ago. And this letter actually circulated to the Wurlitzer distributor in Rochester, and they ended up using him in their advertisement, saying he endorsed their piano orchestras. So maybe he invented it. I don't know. Seems plausible. I think admittedly he said it was, this is the quote from the letter he wrote to them. He said, "It was a crude affair, but worked well, and it was, I won't hesitate to say, the first nickel in the slot played piano in the country."
Okay.
Who's to argue?
Yeah, I'm not arguing. Yeah. As we know, there's venom in his veins. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead, so I'll certainly fight with him about this. But if he were alive, I probably
Jim,
would.
I don't want Rattlesnake Pete haunting me. Actually, maybe I do. That'd kind of be the funnest ghost.
You'd be interested in having him hanging around you?
Yeah, why not? He's probably got a couple snakes slithering around him. Pretty great ghost.
Oh.
Pretty great ghost. All right, the final item we have cataloged is a doozy. It was another device that promised to show dancing girls. Imagine you ever this is what the original Nickelodeons were, I believe. It's kind of like you put in your coin and then you put your eyes up to a little viewer and you turn the crank and you can watch a little movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this device promised to show dancing girls. After you dropped in a coin in the slot, A padded fist shot out to take a punch at him.
What? Why is he terrorizing? Why is he terrorizing the patrons of his saloon? I don't.
That's pretty great. I wish every bar had this. I'm like, hey, Larry, go check out the dancing girls.
You pervert.
Exactly.
Popped in the eye.
All right, so this is the picture I have found of the saloon, and the best I can describe it is it looks like a hoarder opened a bar.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best way possible. We have shit hanging from the ceiling at every possible point. I see an old harp. We got the 3 dogs that we mentioned before. There's a mannequin just with he could be a member of the hard cider gang, as far as I know.
Sure.
And yeah, just stuff everywhere. Just everywhere.
Yeah.
But again, I must stress in the best way possible. As one local newspaper put it, his musty curiosity shop became filled to the eaves with fantastic exhibits. Columnist Henry Clune, writing in Rochester History in 1993, somewhat disagreed when he wrote, all in all, it was a shabby collection of museum specimens, but attracted a large patronage to the saloon, and men who came to it from rural areas thought it the city's #1 attraction. That, Jim, I believe.
What? Yeah. Wow. I mean, what a what a intricate lifestyle. What a complex lifestyle old Petey Pooh lived. And I'm here to tell you some of the legacy of Pete, right? Because you can't just have a saloon with just like all sorts of animal carcass and just wild shit all over the place and be like a tame accountant. Like that's not
sure.
There are some stories.
Yep.
And I'm here to let those fly. Legend has it he devised his own method of extracting venom, once saved a circus clown from a rattlesnake bite, and treated his own numerous snake bites, 29 from rattlers and another 4 from copperheads. So we haven't even gotten there yet. He was once bitten in an artery that left him unconscious for days and took 9 months for him to fully recover. See, at this point, this is where you have to say, what am I doing with my life? All right. What is the, what direction or what trajectory are we on here?
I feel like once you have the moniker Rattlesnake Pete, you just got to lean in. You can't just be like, we don't really call him that anymore. He doesn't really do the rattlesnake thing anymore. He kind of gave that up. Like,
yeah, you're committed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for life.
Yep. As long as you hopefully will live, given that you're dealing with fucking animal poison. As the story goes, whenever any strange animals showed up in Rochester, Pete was sent for to pick sinister-looking lizards from banana shipments in the railroad yards, to capture monkeys escaped from a carnival, to kill snakes, invariably harmless ones that housekeepers found in their cellars. He hunted snakes in the Bristol Hills and, for rattlers, returned to the mountains of his native Pennsylvania. Dressed head to toe in rattlesnake skin clothes, as we saw, Pete set off on his excursions in an open red Rambler, which sported great brass snake hood ornaments, accompanied by his big dogs.
This fucking guy was living the life, man.
Yo, man, he's living like this is an eccentric human being. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So here's some little anecdotes here. Some farmer in the nearby countryside would see a snake in his field and report to Peter that it was a rattler. It never was. Because Pete was a psychotic murderer of snakes. But Pete, would put on his vest and rattlesnake skins, and we would set out in his red Rambler automobile, which was ornamented in front with his 2 large brass snakes, as we talked about earlier. Occasionally, he captured a large, harmless snake, but more often found no reptile of any kind. The occasion, however, made good news copy, and Pete delighted in the expansion of his reputation and gained more goiter patience as the result of it. He was a friendly and likable old fellow, and as his red Rambler with its brass cymbals toured the country roads, he received welcoming shouts from the country folk who saw him. And that comes to us from Henry Clune, 1993.
I can shed some light on the term goiter patients, which I don't think we talked about.
Sure.
So he was like a snake oil salesman, right? Again, as we kind of talked about earlier, he would sell snake oil to cure as a cure-all. And one thing he did was he basically claimed he could cure goiters, which is like you get them like in your neck, right? It's like I forget what's like inflamed or how they happen, but it's like a big bulge in your neck. And he claimed he could cure them by wrapping a snake around your throat. And he had a huge roster of patients who sought out this special goiter snake treatment.
Wow. Rob, that's all I got. That's really the best I got for that is wow.
Oh man, this guy knew how to hustle. He's
selling it all, man.
He really did.
He's really selling it all.
Would you ever be so desperate as to wrap a snake around your neck by a guy who's not a doctor but goes by the name Rattlesnake Pete?
I mean, look, I got Medicaid, so like I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I wouldn't be in a position. I wouldn't put myself in that position.
No, me neither.
Yeah, nah, I'm good, fam.
Give me the goiter.
Yeah, I'll just drain it. In 1901, Peter Gruber, known as Rattlesnake Pete, presided over a rather unique dinner given in his honor of a fellow rattlesnake handler from
given in honor of.
Given in honor of a fellow snake handler from Colorado who had previously hosted Pete in his home. This is crazy that there's a network of these people. The dinner took place in New York. He first intended to pay a little compliment to his friend with a specially prepared dinner of rattlesnake served in a various toothsome ways. But becoming more and more enthusiastic over the idea, he enlarged the scope of the menu, adding water snake stew, boiled python with egg sauce, and a piece de resistance served a platter of roast boa constrictor. I'm good. I mean, I wasn't invited, so like, doesn't matter what I think about the fare for the evening.
I hope everyone knew what they were getting into.
Right. Oh, I'm sure. Well, listen, you're not you're not like running with Rattlesnake Pete and like, you know, being shocked at his proclivities for food.
That's true.
That's not how that's gonna fly.
That's, you know how like sometimes you go to a party and like, is there gonna be food? Like, I don't know, and you play it safe, and you might eat a quick dinner before the party. This is an eat dinner before the party kind of scenario.
Yeah. Or show up and be like, oh, word? All right, I'm out. You know what, man? I can't. I'm not doing this with y'all. Y'all are fucking wild. All right. 18 guests were present. The dinner was served in Pete's den, an odd little room off his place of business. For Pete, in the hours he can spare from playing with his pets, runs a saloon and restaurant, a quiet, pleasant place. Only a favored few are allowed to pass the door of the sanctum sanctorum, where the snakes, sometimes more than a dozen, sometimes several score, live, watched over by their proud owner.
So that means just like at the saloon, there's a door that no one can go through that just has snakes behind it. Scores of snakes just hanging out.
Indiana Jones would fucking lose his mind at this. The table decorations were striking and appropriate. A big rattler, caged in glass, served as a centerpiece, and stuffed reptiles in various attitudes took the place in usual sprays of fern and smilax.
I just got to give a side note. We're reading a lot of shit that was written in like the 1800s or 1900s, and it is verbal gymnastics.
Yeah.
Shit is all written in such flowery language.
Yeah, I feel like Grammarly would lose its shit at the concept of all of this. The foot of the table was presided over, again, you could just say at the foot of the table. The foot of the table was presided over by a huge cobra, stuffed, of course, and around each plate were 2 or 3 diminutive black snakes, all alive. Good
what? What?
This guy's fucking nuts. The wall
How do you keep them on the table?
Well, when you're Rattlesnake Pete, man, the snakes listen.
Oh my god.
The walls of the room kept their everyday hangings of snake skins, rattlers, rattles, canes made from wriggler skins, and other curios. Pete's coat, made entirely of rattlesnake skins, was probably displayed as well.
He's got to be wearing it.
Yeah, or like, I don't know. Do you wear that around the house? This guy's fucking nuts, so I guess probably. The ordinary guests proved rather nervous at first and made half-hearted motions with their spoons, but the 2 experts soon inspired them with more enthusiasm. Some guests compared the stew to fish chowder, frog's legs, or eel, but when asked for the recipe, the host refrained from offering it. I don't need to know. The rattlesnake was also thought similar to chicken or veal, but most guests claimed their hunger quite satiated before the python with egg sauce and roast boa constrictor were served.
Oh, man, what a waste. If I was there, I wouldn't have had the soup. I can tell you right now, I would have not had the soup. But if we're talking about a preparation similar in look to chicken or veal, like, as long as I'm not eating it, peeling back snake skin to get at the meat, I think I would have tried it.
You're giving it a shot?
More because I would have been so sad that a fucking python and boa constrictor were died. Like, I would at least try it, right? Like, it's there. You don't want it to go to waste.
I guess it's kind of that you only live once scenario of just like, are you ever going to see this again? Probably not.
No.
The guest of honor took the cage rattler from its glass-walled den, wrapped it about himself quite playfully, and discussed the habits of the rattlesnake to his fellow guests who did not share his enthusiasm. Not surprising. When one of the attendees doubted the snake was capable of inflicting harm, the gentleman pried its jaws apart with a penknife, whereupon drops of venom dripped from its fangs onto the knife blade. This is a fucking insane party. I've been saying this. Yo, man.
As long as I'm seated on the other end of the table, like, I'm having a great time.
This is like a Clockwork Orange level of just like, what are we doing here?
Sure.
In departing from the dinner, those present complimented its originator upon the success of his novel scheme. Now, we have painted a picture of the life and legacy of Rattlesnake Pete.
These are just the stories that made it into print. Like, imagine all the shit we don't know about.
Oh, yeah. There's some stuff that will never see the light of day that only God knows and he's not telling. Now, the passing of Pete. Rattlesnake Pete spent 40 years as a snake handler, saloon owner, and curator of the odd. In 1931, Pete retired due to what the Democrat and Chronicle, which is a newspaper in Rochester, referred to as a combination of ailments. Pete died in his home on Averill Ave October 11th, 1932, at the age of 75, which is remarkable age to get to, given the things that this man liked to get into. His collection of curios was sold at an auction, and, as happens eventually to each of us, he became pure story. He is interred at Holy Sepulchre Cemetery off Lake Avenue in Rochester. The museum closed shortly after Pete's passing, and most of the remaining items were sold at auction. The Democrat and Chronicle noted Pete's influence in the community, saying that in his passing, Rochester loses one of its most colorful characters, a man whose unusual tastes and pursuits had given him a reputation that was actually worldwide, and whose qualities of mind and sympathy of heart had endeared him to the friends whom he counted in thousands. Now, if that is not a fucking eulogy, I don't know what is. Golly. Although he bore the name Rattlesnake Pete for more than half a century, it was a foreign to the genial and humorous disposition and his unfailing kindness and courtesy as any nickname well could be. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
I mean,
And that, friends, Speedy Freaks, was the life and times of Rochester's own Mr. 585 himself, Rattlesnake Pete.
I'm going to start saying, instead of just Speedy Freaks and Rattlesnake Pete's. It's got a ring to it.
Speedy Freaks and Rattlesnake Pete's. Get out of here. Goodbye, Rob. You are a mess.
It's officially canon. I'm so sorry. It's happening. It's going to get as many mentions as The Canal does, as Arch Merrill does.
Sure,
I'm really excited to
sure.
usher in Rattlesnake Pete into the understanding upstate lexicon.
I feel like you have to really, it's got to, I would connect that with Speedy Freaks and Rattlesnake Pete's. Like, I feel like, you know what I mean? It rolls off the tongue. I like it. It's got a nice flow to it. I'd be curious. I mean, look, it's your. I would never stop you on the show, buddy. You know that.
Sure.
But I feel like, I guess if you call somebody a Rattlesnake Pete, I don't know. It's up to you.
I mean, it sounds like, just from this eulogy we heard, it's one of the highest honors you could bestow upon a person. It's not my fault they don't know that, Jim. They should have listened to the episode.
And then the rest of our episodes, which you can find on Apple Podcasts and everywhere where you get a pod, baby. Come on, you got 39 motherfucking episodes to get into. You know what I mean? So go listen to them all, and then once you finish 39, listen to them again. Fuck it. What else you got going on?
Once they've listened to all 39 of those episodes, what's something else they could listen to, Jim?
Well, all right, Rob, check this out. Let's say, you're running around the streets of Rochester, New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just had a garbage plate, okay?
Sure.
Just shotgun a can of Jenny beer, and you're living the life the average person could only dream of, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get it. You check your email. You see you got an invite from Rattlesnake Pete.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's like, I'm having some friends over for dinner. not like Hannibal Lecter style, but just like I'm having people over for dinner, and you're excited because you're just like, shit, man. I've been waiting for this email for months.
Yep.
And Rattlesnake Pete has invited me to dinner. And you're getting ready. You're going to put on your Sunday best. You got your own rattlesnake outfit that you're putting on. Cause,
right. Oh, yeah, of course.
When in Rome,
Mm-hmm. When in Rochester, but
yeah. Well, Rome, there's Rome, New York. So now you're getting ready for this party. And you're like, man, I want something to listen to. Just kind of, just like lighten the mood a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You throw on Upstate Understandings. It's a comedy album. It is my very first comedy album, produced by Rob Adler. It is available at jimsearch.bandcamp.com. If you want to get the physical copy, there's an actual, tangible, honest-to-God physical copy, vinyl, CD, cassette. It comes with a digital download, right? You can own a piece of history. Or you can go on to any digital streaming platform. You can get it there. But trust me, this album will appreciate over time. You give it to your grandkids. They give it to their... You pass it down the line, okay? Now, Rob, they have listened to Upstate Understandings, right? They love it. You know, they've they feel like, you know, they want more, right? They enjoyed it, but they want more. Is there any recommendations you have for them?
In fact, I have a couple. Let's just say you run a haberdashery and a gentleman walks in and would like a custom tailored suit and tie made entirely out of rattlesnake skin, and you got your work cut out for you. You accept the job because, one, this man is very imposing, but I must stress, also very kind, but you can't say no because he goes by the name of Rattlesnake Pete, and who would ever say no to such a gentleman? So while you're cutting up and sewing together 1,000 rattlesnake skins, you're going to put on my album, New York Sticky, available at brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com. It's a lovely instrumental album. You've heard me talk about it before, probably, and if you haven't heard me talk about it before, it means you haven't listened to any other episodes. Go check out those too. Aside from that, you can also check out the documentary that Jim and I made together called Understanding Upstate, which is a behind-the-scenes look at the album Jim was just talking about. It's available for free on YouTube. Link in the description for everything we just mentioned. And while you're at it, subscribe, rate, and review, like we said up top. Again, all those things, any of those things, really helps out our show. Jim.
Yes.
What on earth are we going to follow up Rattlesnake Pete with? God, where do you go?
How can you? Right, exactly. It's like, how do you go further than this? Yeah, and I get it. I totally understand it. Well, listen, Speedy Freaks out there, if you're game for it next week, I got something for you.
I like it.
If you're game.
I like it. Well, if you're game, I can close us out for today with, yet again, one of my patented, terrible up pun closing transitions. Are you ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Well, Jim, it's dinner time, and I got to roast up some boa constrictor. Let's get out of here.
Bye. Understanding Upstate is a podcast hosted by Jim Search and Rob Adler, edited by Rob Adler, and music from Regal Monk.